What's the reason for your last breakup?
Oh, God. Mine's crazy. My ex and I were together for 4 years, moved to 2 states. I'm about to trauma dump right now. We're saying, like, we were going to get engaged, get a house together this spring, like, all this stuff. And then around Christmas time, I'd sent a Secret Santa link to him to, like, pull a name. And I wanted to see what name he drew. And instead, I found a file folder with a decade's worth of nudes and homemade tapes. And also had, like, of transgender women on his phone. 4 years. So was literally living a double life, cheated on me physically for the whole past year, like insane. 5 days before my birthday, 10 days before Christmas, I might add. So yeah.
That's crazy.
That's the reason for my last breakup.
And so what did you tell him?
He was sleeping when I found it all. So I woke up and I was like, hey, have you ever cheated on me? He was like, what? No, like never. I played stupid. Then I was like, I lied. And I was like, oh, some girl DM'd me and showed me like these Tinder messages and all this stuff because I had like, he screenshotted all this stupid stuff. Like, I don't know why you would save that. Like, you're an idiot. And then that's when it came out. Like, I did. And he kept like changing his story. And I was just like, yeah, no, like you're done. Like, there's no coming back from this. I didn't even tell him anything. I actually went and called my parents first right away because I knew I had to fucking tell somebody else.
That's crazy.
You know, I knew I had to tell somebody else right away.
Oh, dude.
You think your breakup was wild? Wait until you hear what these women went through. We're talking cheating caught on FaceTime, fake pregnancies, blocked numbers, and one guy who faked his own death. Yes, seriously. Breakups aren't just sad anymore. Some of them are straight-up movie plots. In this video, we're diving into the craziest, messiest, most unbelievable breakup stories women have ever shared. And trust me, you're not ready for what's coming.
So a lot of people have been asking me why my engagement ended 10 days before my wedding, and I'm going to tell the story. Mainly because I think that this is good to share stories like this, and if you're going through something like this or a breakup at all, know that A, you are not alone, and B, the amount of growth that it has brought me, I would not trade it for the world. How it was handled was not the best, but I'm so grateful for it. It truly like redefined my life in so many ways. To kind of like give you a quick wash of the relationship, not getting into too much detail, I fell in love with a Brit. We were working together in New York and we were long distance dating for 3 years. Part of that was during the pandemic when we were not allowed to visit each other in our different countries. That's when we really started talking about marriage and if we wanted to be together for the rest of time. We always knew that we were each other's soulmates, so that was a pretty easy answer for both of us. We got an immigration lawyer. We started working on, the timeline for how long things like this would take, which it's a very long time. And if you're going through an international relationship, I feel you so hard. And I'm just sending love out to you guys and all long distance relationships in general. They're very stressful, and I hope that you're all doing good. My ex proposed to me in London, in Notting Hill. It was the most quintessential Julia Roberts dream. He's an actor. Got engaged right before he started starring in a show on the West End. He had so much work to do. Boring, busy paperwork, passport, visa, like just throwing money at both of our governments to try and like expedite this process in any way possible. Even if you're not trying to expedite it, it just costs a fuckload of money. But I was like, listen, you are living your West End dreams. Have fun, enjoy it. I'll work on all of this and like I'll ask you if I need anything, but I should be okay. So I come out to visit him after like 5 weeks of rehearsal. I go see him on opening night. The night before opening night, he sits me down and he's like, hey, I just want to run something by you just in case like at the opening night party, any of the cast members like talk to you or something. There's been like murmurs in the cast about how me and this girl are kind of flirty. I just want you to know there's like nothing there. She is 19. She has a crush on me. You know how I am. I'm flirty and friendly with everybody, but like, I promise you there's nothing there. I'm like, that's not super fun to hear, but I get it. You're a straight guy in musical theater. Like, you're always gonna have women just like throwing themselves at you. There's a whole different problem that I could talk about for days. Ego. So the next night I go see this show, and obviously I'm just looking at this girl the entire time. Like, she's beautiful, she's talented, stunning to watch on stage. I'm like, oh, well, fuck me. I'm just like comparing myself to her the entire time while I'm sitting next to his mom, like 3 gins deep, watching this fucking musical. I'm like, oh my God, what is my life right now? Sit him down after the show. I'm like, hey, that was really hard to watch. And like, I've had some time to think about it. I have a ring on my finger, and I'm getting hit on every weekend in New York, and I show them the ring, and I respect our relationship, tell them that I'm engaged, and they move on. But you're not wearing a ring. So I need you to remember that even though you're not wearing a ring, this engagement is real. This is a promise. This is the marriage part. Backstory, both of my parents are still together and madly in love, and all of the adults in my life growing up were in healthy, happy marriages. And I know that that's not normal, but I feel like that's important to say because I've always been very secure in relationships. I'm not really a jealous person, and I trust people. I don't really have trust issues, or I didn't.
So I say to him, like, out of respect for our relationship, please, don't talk to her anymore. I don't want to be thinking about this, and we can just like squash this right now. He's like, absolutely, I totally hear you. I'm sorry. Like, let's just move on. So we move on. We go on in the summer. I'm in New York and California. He's in London. It's very hard to communicate because of his show schedule and because of the time difference, but it's nothing that we're not used to. And also I didn't want to like press it. I was really excited. I was doing all my like girly, bachelorette things and just having fun. I was secure in the relationship. So we decided to get married at the end of summer, and it's going to be like a smaller ceremony with just our families, Chelsea Town Hall. And I was so excited. It was fucking iconic. We had this sick photographer. I got a dress. Like everything was very special. Flying to London 10 days before our wedding. I'm on the flight there to London, and he texts me. He's like, come over here, be my wife already. Like, I love you so much. I can't wait for you to get here. And I was like on cloud 9. I get in and I'm like, you know what? I don't want to wait until he's done with his show. Like, I want to go surprise him at the stage door. So I hop in the shower, I get all cute, I get in an Uber and like rush over to the stage door. Now, the stage door is usually in an alleyway behind the theater, so I know where it is, but I'm trying to find a place to hide. The only thing that's there in the alleyway is a dumpster, so I hide behind the dumpster. And I'm waiting, peeping my head out, watching in the shadows, waiting. All of his cast members are walking out. I'm like, where the fuck is he? Like 10 minutes go by, he's still not out. I'm like, this is so weird, where is he? Finally, the last person to walk out of this theater is him. And who's he with? He's with the girl. He's with the 19-year-old. And they are chummy. My heart just like falls out of my asshole. I start like my whole body is shaking. I'm just like going into this panic mode, and I'm like, Erica, why are you panicking? They're just talking, but like you asked him not to talk, and this feels weird, and why do you feel so weird? Because my gut was trying to tell me to run. Mind you, I'm behind a dumpster feeling like a piece of trash while I'm watching this beautiful actress and my fiance. They were very, very close. They were looking around to make sure nobody was seeing. I was like, oh my God, I can't even believe this is happening. Why am I here? I feel so fucking weird. Why am I here? They turn and part ways. She walks in my direction. Then I'm like, so I'm watching her. She catches my eyes. She sees who I am. She knows who I am. She goes, sheet white, books it, like runs away. And I'm like, well, what the fuck is going on? But now my fiance's walking the other way, and I still have to surprise him. So I run around the other side of the dumpster to try to catch him, and I must have looked like a fucking freak. Like, surprise! And he was panicking. Oh my God, he was so fucking caught. His face is just like, you can read energy. Like, I could feel the energy. The energy with me was insane. The energy between him and I were just like, it was so awkward. He had some castmates waiting at the end of the alleyway for him. They were so awkward. Like, everybody fucking knew what was going on and nobody was talking about it. It was like, what's going on? There's no way that this is real. Like this and let me know if you want a part 2.
In honor of the 1-year anniversary of the actual worst day of my life, here's how I found out my boyfriend of 7 years was cheating on me. I'll start off by saying that before everything went down, this was my longest and healthiest relationship. This man absolutely adored me and I adored him. Everybody around us knew that. We were best friends before anything. We lived together. We rebuilt a home together. we did the whole shebang. We all thought we would end up growing old together. So this was definitely a shocker. He was a bartender, and he was recently undergoing new management. They didn't know if they were going to close the shop down. There's a lot of stuff going on in his workspace. Eventually it got bought out. This new owner brought in new people, including his daughter. One night I was sending pictures over of our dog. He was our dog. Over from his phone to my phone. And as I did that, the first message that popped up was a little Instagram emoticon. And the little profile pic bubble was a half-naked girl. So naturally, I want to go check his Instagram. I had seen that they had been talking for some time, and it did seem a little bit flirty, so I confronted him about it. And quick little introduction, because I forgot it, he said that this was his new coworker Lori, who he was training. He said that she has a girlfriend, and it's not like that, and that's just how he talks to all his coworkers. And mind you, it could have passed off as that. She did have a little bit more of an androgynous look to her, so I just blew it off. I was like, well, this is Chad. We'll name him. This is Chad. Chad wouldn't do this to me. And so that was that. Further down the line, I noticed a slight change in behavior. I don't feel like we were connecting as much, and he had mentioned that he was about to turn 30 and he wasn't where he wanted to be in life, and that he kind of just wanted to focus on himself. So I respected that. As much as I wanted to be there for him, he never really allowed me to be that person for him. And this wasn't just the first time, just anytime he went through anything in general. But I decided to respect his decision on that, and I offered to move out of our bedroom into the studio room to give him his space. So I did, but we were still very much flirtatious with each other. He still took me out for Valentine's Day. We still celebrated his birthday. Mind you, at this point, he was very hot and cold with me. So this was the most this man has ever made me cry. He had never made me cry in the past, so it was driving me nuts. He basically said that after this break, he wants to come back stronger and talk about having kids together, promising this whole life. And so again, I was trying to do my best to be there for him the best way I could be. And there was one night where we decided to officially take the break, and that's when he wanted to hold me, caress me. He was cuddling with me. He cooked me dinner that night. He randomly at like 9 o'clock at night said, we'll call this place PTSD, because, bitch, that's exactly what it gives. He said, I'm going to PTSD, his workplace, to go see my buddy, we'll call him Steven. And mind you, he had been going out a lot more lately, and I mean, we had each other's locations, and there'd be times where he's at a different place than where he said he would be. So anyway, he decided to leave really late one night, which is not like him at all. This man was very much a stay at home, antisocial, didn't want to go out with anyone, see anything, whatever. So naturally, I was just spiraling, okay? I was crying, I was confused. So he said he was going to go see Steven. And then he grabbed his laptop. Mind you, they work at a bar. Why are you taking your laptop? So I asked him about it. He said, well, I'm meeting up my other friend, we'll call him Nathaniel, in the morning for some coffee. And he recently went back to school, and I'm thinking about going back to school. So he's going to help me with that. And the reason he was taking his laptop is so that he didn't have to pack it up in the morning. And I'm all out of time, so head over to part 2.
Okay, I want to do a story time on how my ex-boyfriend at the time tried to physically harm me because he had figured out that I was hanging out with a celebrity. Just as a disclaimer, sidebar, I will not under any circumstance say who the person is, so please don't ask or hound me. It's really not that interesting. So anyway, between the ages of like 18, 20, I was with him for 2 years. I was in a very toxic relationship. There was no like physical abuse or anything like that. I just remember a lot of arguing. He was very insecure, very possessive, and yeah, that whole little thing. Just to give y'all like a roundabout kind of look at what it might have been like. I was one of them friends that my friends did not like going outside with, because every time we would be outside having a grand old time, we would look over in the corner and he would be standing there waiting to ruin my night. And if he wasn't in the corner ruining my night, he was gonna find some way. Anywho, yes, so there were a bunch of reasons why I ended up breaking up with him, which I can get into that more if y'all want me to. But I had broke up with him at some point. And because we were in such a toxic on and off back and forth relationship, I think that when I broke up with him, he really didn't take it seriously, because, you know, who can blame him? Like, I would break up with him or he'd break up with me and we'd be right back together next day. But by this point, so many things had happened that I was just fed up. So we had broken up. I was like talking to other dudes and stuff like that, but I think that I was still sleeping with him. And there was some point where my friend from California had came down to come and hang out and stay with me for like 2 weeks. So like I said, I was one of those friends that my friends did not want to go out with. So I had to pre-warn him and have a conversation with him to let him know, like, hey, listen, ain't gonna be hemmed up in this house with you these 2 weeks. I'm not gonna be here with you at the end of the night. I'm not doing none of that with you. We outside. Wherever the fuck she want to go, whatever she doing, I'm with it. So please, just basically summing it up, don't bother me for these 2 weeks. So when she came down, we were planning on going to this concert. These concert tickets had been bought like maybe 2 months in advance or whatever. So when I bought them, I was still in a relationship with him. I do remember at one point kind of teasing him a little bit when I bought the tickets, like, oh wow, babe, like, what if he see me in the crowd and he noticed me and he want to pull me on stage? Like, never in a million years thinking that that is gonna happen. But I kind of was just like playing with him a little bit, but his response was not cute. He was like, yeah, no, pretty much something along the lines of, that nigga could have you. If you do some shit like that, I ain't fucking with you no more. So I didn't really take much to it, because like I said, I didn't think that that was gonna happen, and I didn't think that we was gonna be broken up. So it was kind of just like a little jokey joke. So she ends up coming down. We went to the concert. At this point, I don't think that I wasn't really like crazy like about the boy. Like, I liked his music. I did find him attractive, but I wasn't like, oh my God, like, can't wait. So, anyway, we get to the concert. He wasn't really as mainstream as he is right now, but he was very popular in Syracuse at the time. So it wasn't really at a big venue or anything like that. There were no seats. It was like an open space. We got there pretty early, so we were right in front. There was like a fence, and then there was the stage. So we get there, we stand in there, he comes out, he performs, singing along, having a good time. At some point, he ends up walking off the stage. And in my head, for whatever reason, I thought that the concert was over. So these two dancers or something come out, and they like all on the stage, like doing like this little sexy, like little hip whine, like, and like pointing like at people, and the DJ like, oh, who want to come up here and shake some ass? So I'm like, me at the time, I'm not that kind of girl. Like, if I get drunk enough, yes, I'll shake my ass. But like premeditated to like go up on stage knowing I ain't got no ass and I got jeans on to go shake my ass, not happening. You ain't gonna catch me doing that. I leave that to the big booty girls. So they like, oh, who want to come up here, da. So I'm just standing there. Mind you, I'm right in front with my friend. And I'm just standing there. I think I'm like on my phone or not paying attention, trying not to make eye contact. And it's girls that are all around me, next to me, behind me, crowded, everywhere, screaming, pick me. So for whatever funky ass reason, they on the stage acting like they pointing out people, like they trying to figure out who they wanted. Whole time, when I get on the bus with the boy later on, he ends up telling me that he wanted me the whole time. Because I'm like, why the fuck pick me? Like, all these bitches was going crazy. What you pick me for? Anyway, so they end up pointing at me. Fast forward. So they point at me, and I'm looking at my friend. I'm like, who, me? Bitch, I'm not going up there. She like, bitch, you better go. You better go. I'm like, fuck. No, I'm not going up there and shaking no ass, bitch. I got jeans on. Like, this ain't happening. I can't do this. They didn't give a fuck if I said no or not. That security guard came up off that stage, opened up that little part of the gate, and came and grabbed my damn hand. So at this point, fuck it, I'm going up there. So as they're bringing me up the side, I'm like, listen, I don't know what y'all about to have me up here doing. I said, but I'm not dancing. So if that's what y'all want, please go and pick another girl. Respectfully, I'm not doing that. They're not even saying nothing to me. They are completely ignoring me. So I get up to the middle stage. It still has not registered to me yet what is about to happen. I'm still thinking, like, I don't know what the fuck they about to do. So I get on stage. There's a chair in the middle of the floor. So then I'm kind of like, that's a little weird. So I go sit down. The DJ's ask me questions. How old am I? What's my name? Da-da-da. Close your eyes. We got a surprise for you. At that point, then I knew, like, oh, he's probably about to come back out. So I close my eyes. He comes out. He's singing or whatever. I'm excited at this point. Now I'm like, oh, wow. Like, I've never had anything like this happen to me ever. Like, I just felt like that girl. Like, I was super happy and, like, just excited. I'm, like, smitten at this point. I'm like, oh, my God, is this really happening? Like, you picked me? So he, you know, dancing on me, singing, doing that whole little thing that lasted probably like 5 minutes. So I get off the stage. Of course, my friends recorded me. Now, let's keep my ex-boyfriend in the back of my mind, in the back of our minds. I had already had this conversation with him that, you know, what if the boy pulled me on stage? Obviously, I didn't think that this was going to happen. There were a whole bunch of events that led up to the way that I'm so nervous about posting this video of me on the stage with this boy. So I had told my friends, like, listen, do not post that video. Wait until we leave, because if we post that video now and he know where the fuck I'm at, we ain't making it out here good. Like, we ain't making it out here in one piece. Like, I don't know, he gonna lose his fucking mind. So please don't post the video. So I can't remember if it is while I was on the stage or at some point while I was down on the floor, my friend walked away or something like that. But she had ended up saying to me at some point that the artist, like his friends came up to her and said that they had wanted to hang out with us after the show or whatever. And mind you, like, I was just like getting out on my own. I was a little skeptical about it. I'm like, well, bitch, how the fuck you know that these is his friends? Like, did they show you any credentials or anything like that? And she's like, no, I know. So, okay, whatever. So, he, you know, finishes the concert or whatever, and the friends end up coming up to her again. She's like, these are dudes. So they like, yeah, such and such says that he wants to hang out with you. So I'm like, okay, cool. So they take my number or whatever. They're like, we'll call y'all when we get to where we going to let y'all know where to come. So we're like, okay, cool. So we end up leaving. We hurry up, rush, go home. I go, you know, fix, freshen up, do everything I needed to do, change my little outfit that I had. I think I put like a dress on or some shit like that. And the dudes end up calling us like, hey, this is where we at. Come here. So they were on a tour bus parked in some hotel parking lot somewhere. So once we leave, I'm like, bitch, fuck it. All bets is off. Now let's post the video. Like, I was so happy. Like I said, I felt like I was that girl. And I'm like, I'm single. Like, I can do whatever the fuck I want to do. If he loses his mind, oh, fucking well. So I ended up posting the video. And, of course, he's calling my phone, going crazy, leaving me all types of... I'm not answering it because I'm about to go have the time of my life, dude. Like, I don't give a fuck what you talking about. So I ended up posting the video, and like I said, he's going crazy, calling my phone. Oh, I'm gonna slash your tires, I'm gonna bust your windows out, I'm gonna do this, you slut bitch, this is that and the third, something along them lines. I don't know exactly what he said, but anyway, so we get to where we going, and there is a tour bus in the hotel parking lot. So I'm like, bitch, listen, if we get on this fucking bus and I turn my goddamn head and I don't see this boy on this bus, we're gonna fucking make a run for it. So we get on the bus. My ex-boyfriend is still blowing my phone down at this point. We had to give our phones to the bus driver. So I had put my shit on airplane mode because he's blowing my phone up. So this is 12 o'clock. Keep this in your head. 12 o'clock when I get on this bus. I'm gonna go into part 2.
What makes these breakup stories so shocking isn't just the drama, it's how normal things started out. One moment, everything's fine. The next, he ghosted her after a 3-year relationship, or she found out he had a whole other life, wife, kids, house, in a different city. These aren't just messy endings, they're emotional wrecks that leave people questioning everything. And it makes you realize, sometimes the person sleeping next to you is a stranger you never really knew. That's the part that hits hardest. Not the breakup, but the betrayal.
Tell me the most craziest breakup story that you've ever been through, or somebody that you know has been through? I'll go first. So when I was 18, my grandmother had just passed away, like that day passed away. My ex decided that he said that he was gonna hang out with his mom or something, which, like, at the time was, like, kind of understandable because the relationship was a little rocky and they were, like, I think trying to repair it. I don't know. So they went and they hung out, and he asked me, he was like, do you need me to stay there because, you know, my grandmother just died? And me being my toxic self, was like, no, like, just go, like, it's fine, even though it wasn't fine. So anyways, he goes with his mom, and I'm, like, crying the whole time, after he leaves, because I'm like, well, shit, I actually didn't want him to go with his mom. I just, like, didn't want to be the person to be like, no, you can't hang out with your mom because my grandmother passed away, you know? So, I don't know. Maybe that wasn't toxic of me, but I don't know. Anyways. So, I'm, like, crying the whole entire night, and he doesn't come back home until, like, it's, like, stupid late, guys. It's gotta be, like, 11, almost 12 a.m. And I kind of felt like something was up because his mom would not stay out with him until 11, 12 a.m. That's just not the type of person that she was. So, fast forward, okay, he gets home and shit, and I think he showers, I can't remember, I don't know. So, fast forward, it's the day of my grandmother's funeral, and I asked, I think like a few days prior if he could take off work to go with me, because I wanted my significant other with me during that. And he said that he couldn't get off work or something, which is, you know, understandable. Sometimes you just, you know, especially if it's not like your family member, you know. So the day comes for the funeral and he goes to work and stuff. I legit don't hear from the dude all day. I don't get a text message saying, hey, how's everything going? How are you feeling? Yada, yada, yada. Anyways, that night I get home and he's there and he's just acting really strange. And I tried to, like, love on him, you know, like, want some affection because my grandmother just had her funeral and it was really upsetting. Anyways, so we actually end up breaking up. Literally that night of the funeral, we broke up. Now you may be wondering who broke up with who. The breakup was sort of mutual, but definitely more him than me, because I was trying to figure out ways to, like, make it work, but then, like, constantly, like, second guessing myself because he wasn't giving me the reaction that I would hope that somebody who loved me would be acting if they wanted to stay together. I hope that made sense because I'm not with it right now. So anyways, we end up breaking up. I'm still trying to figure out how to make things work, but he is just, like, dead set. No, he doesn't want to work out. We were staying at an apartment together, but his grandpa owned those apartments. Therefore, I could not stay there and he could not be the one that left. I had nowhere to go. I finally got in contact with one of my high school really good friends. It was a boy, and no, it was not like that. I had no feelings for this boy, zero. He was just a really good friend. No. So I ended up packing my stuff, and I had 2 cats, and they came with me, and that was super emotional because I was not expecting having to leave my house the night of my grandmother's funeral, and then also, you know, having a breakup with the person that I, like, the first person I ever fell in love with. Like, when I tell you guys, I thought him and I were going to get married and have a family together and just, like, be together forever. I legit thought that. Had never had those feelings prior. Like, I had a long-term boyfriend prior to that was, like, 3 years, 2 years long. no, this dude was the love of my life. Like, not once did I ever think about leaving him. Nothing. So, anyways, fast forward, next day, I'm staying at my guy best friend's house. He had an extra bedroom. He was renting this house out from his family, and I stayed in another bedroom. So I'm going through it, obviously. Also, I'm not medicated at this point, and I had undiagnosed bipolar disorder. Had it for I don't know how long. So I was not medicated because I didn't know I had it. And then, you know, naturally with breakups, like, your emotions are up and down constantly, especially when you've, like, the breakup 100% blindsided you. So anyways, I'm trying to, like, contact him because I want to try and work something out, or just talk and be like, what the fuck happened? Like, how, like, it literally was like, it happened so fast. I didn't even recognize what was happening until literally the next day. And I was like, what the fuck just happened? So finally, after talking with him on the phone, and literally, I'm pretty sure I was pleading with him, which is 25-year-old Alyssa looking back at that now is like, bitch, why would you do that? But I was just a little 18-year-old baby. I didn't know anything. Turns out, well, he told me he doesn't love me anymore, and then hung up on me. That fucked me up. Turns out he was cheating on me the whole entire time with his coworker. Whole entire time. I don't know at what point in time they got together. I don't know the facts on that. I'm just kind of like pulling that out of a hat. But when you look at like the pattern of behaviors that he was doing, 1000% this boy was cheating on me for a few months. I don't know. Because he would go and hang out at his work. He worked at a gas station next to the place that I worked. And he was there even on his day off. Which I was like, but me being little 18-year-old naive Alyssa was like, he just has friends there. Like, he just wants to hang out with his friends. So anyways, I found a picture of them on Facebook literally maybe a month, not even, maybe like, actually, I don't even think it was even a month, of them laying in our bed together, and her wearing his flannel that I used to wear all the time. That fucked me up, obviously, and, he was, like, hanging out with her kids, and yeah. So I actually had messaged my boss, and I said, I can't do this anymore, because he kind of knew what was going on. He was very chill boss. That man, one of the best bosses I've ever had. I told him I can't do this anymore, and I have to quit immediately, because I'm just, I can't. Like, I had customers coming in being like, hey, do you know so-and-so is hanging out with so-and-so? And I'm like, no, didn't. After that, I went on a super dark path. I tried to unsubscribe from life during that point. It wasn't just the breakup, it was like other shit. It was just, I was just going through so much at that time. Literally, 2018 was the darkest time of my life. Would never, ever want to go back to that. So if you sat through that whole entire story, thank you. Appreciate it. Now I want to hear what your crazy breakup story was, because I'm super interested in that. But if it like also triggers you, don't talk about it. And my kid just dumped something out. She's fine. Okay. Tell me what your guys' toxic ex stories are, because I want to know, because I feel like mine was pretty wild.
Get ready with me in my car while I tell you guys about a crazy friendship breakup that I recently went through. So I just dropped my boyfriend off at a testing center in Fort Lauderdale to take his CPA exam, and I figured since I was in Fort Lauderdale and close to Sawgrass Mills, I would go to Sawgrass Mills and do some shopping today. But the last time I was at Sawgrass Mills, I was with this girl that I had a friendship breakup with. So let me tell you guys the story without any further ado, because it's crazy. So I met this girl, let's call her Jess. I met Jess during F1 last year in Miami. My boyfriend and I, we were out to see like Deadmau5, the DJ, And I met this group of people, and Jess was in that group. We ended up really hitting it off, and we stayed in touch over the the course of the next few months, until she moved to Miami in September. So she hits me up. We start hanging out a lot. She is living with this mutual friend of ours, somebody that I met out that night. We were, seeing Deadmau5 for F1. And she is primarily staying at their place, but it was out in Fort Lauderdale, further away from Miami. So she started hanging out at my house a lot, and she would sleep over. And my boyfriend honestly was okay with it. We had the space for her and everything, but it kind of just started becoming a regular thing. So like I said, Jess is new to Miami. We're hanging out a lot. She's sleeping over a lot. She's living with a mutual friend of ours, but we're just all spending lots of time together. We're like sisters. We hang out all the time. We go out all the time. And Jess winds up meeting a very wealthy older man. We're going to call him Mark. Jess is 30. Mark is about 60 years old. But he's a really good guy, and he's spoiling the heck out of her. He's super nice, normal, from Miami, has a really successful business here. So we don't really see an issue with it, especially because Mark is also inviting us out places and paying for things that we do. Mark took Jess on vacation literally within 2 weeks of them dating, okay? Pretty much every weekend, Mark is taking us to crazy events, literally took us to a Drake concert, is getting us cabanas on the beach, bottles of 1942, bottles of Vouv. We're having the time of our lives, and Mark is the man. I also want to mention, this is all over the course of 6 weeks this is happening, and Jess's birthday approaches mid-October, and Mark is going away on a big international vacation, and he'll be away for about 2.5 to 3 weeks. So Jess has some of her friends from California, where she used to live, flying in. Mark gets them a giant, big, beautiful penthouse suite. Literally says, order whatever room service you want, have a party, invite people to the beach, do whatever you want. Jess, it's your birthday, enjoy it, peace out, because he had to go on vacation, right? So I mentioned that when Jess moved to Miami from California, she was living with a mutual friend of ours, moved into her house. So this friend who Jess is living with, we're going to call her Rachel. Rachel knows a group of men who are these Russian guys in their 40s who are chartering a yacht that weekend from Miami and wanted a bunch of girls to join, and they were covering the majority of the yacht, and I think everyone else had to pay $250 if they wanted to come on. So we thought that was okay, pretty good deal. It's Jess's birthday weekend, not a lot to ask, a lot of other things are being covered, so we'll go. I never winded up meeting these Russian men that were chartering the boat, but the night before the boat day, they invited all the girls to dinner. My boyfriend and I decided to pass up. We just didn't feel super comfortable. We didn't really know them, but we figured it was Jess's birthday weekend. She had girlfriends that flew in, let them go. Jess texts me in the middle of the night saying, oh my God, the wealthy Russian man said that he's covering everything. Nobody has to pay the extra $250 a person. Don't worry about bringing any money tomorrow. Let's just party, bring a bottle of alcohol. So we're cool, awesome. We go to bed. I wake up the next morning, and I'm a makeup artist. Saturdays are usually my busier days. I have a client that day. So my client that day was 9:30 a.m. and the boat was leaving, I think, around 1:30. So my client that day is 9:30 a.m. and the boat is leaving around 1:30 p.m., right? So I get stuck in traffic on the way back from my client, and I tell my boyfriend, hey, just go straight to the boat, bring a bottle of tequila, bring me a change of clothes, I'll just meet you there. As I'm driving to where the boat is leaving from, I get a text from Jess saying no guys can come. The Russians don't want other men to come in the boat. And I call her, she's not picking up. I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean? And she is like, Dave has to come, but he has to pay $1,000. Dave's my boyfriend. And I'm like, Dave's not paying $1,000 to go on a boat for a few hours. No. So I tell my boyfriend what Jess tells me about how the Russians want $1,000 from any guy who steps foot on the boat that they chartered. And Dave was like, I am not paying $1,000 to go on a boat for a few hours. No shot in hell. I don't want to be around these Russians. They seem sketchy. I don't want you around them, and also how dare Jess ask us for $1,000 when her boyfriend is a multimillionaire who's given her a lot of money. We've also done a lot for her, let her stay over, took her out to dinner, cook for her. She should not be asking us for money. And my boyfriend was really offended by this. And I'm like, yeah, hey Jess, we're not going. And Jess is freaking out on me, blowing up my phone, requesting money from me, requesting money on Venmo from Dave, telling us that, this all relies on us, they can't cancel, we have to send them the money, we have to come. So we just decided to turn off our phones. Something just felt really off in our souls. Like, it just almost didn't even seem like it was just talking. So this whole story gets so much crazier. I'm gonna have to do a part 2 because it gets so much deeper than this.
Let's talk about all of the crazy shit that happened after I broke up with my abusive ex. I have a lot that I need to cover here, so this is definitely going to be several parts. I apologize. I know that everybody is going to hate that, but I have way more than 10 minutes of content to cover right now, so let's get into it. Okay, first things first, when my ex left the night that we broke up, he did not take a key with him, which was wonderful because that meant that he was not going to be able to get into the condo when I was not home, when I was not around. Or so I thought. My dad would come over when I was at work to take care of Levi because I still had our puppy Levi at this point. So my dad would come over, feed Levi, let him out, play with him for a little bit, and then made sure that he would lock the front door and the back door when he left. So color me surprised when I get home from a 12-hour shift and both my front door and my back door are unlocked. As soon as I felt that my front door was unlocked, I was immediately terrified that my ex had gotten into the condo and taken Levi. If you'll remember from my breakup story time, my ex literally held Levi hostage until I told him that it was a break and not a breakup. It had been established at this point that it was definitely a breakup, not a break. So of course the first thing I'm thinking is that he broke into the condo to come take Levi. To my surprise, Levi was just fine. He was chilling in his crate, he was excited for me to be home. So I look around the rest of the condo, and nothing looks like it has been touched or moved at all. So I call my dad, who tells me that he did definitely lock the front door and the back door, which means that somebody was definitely there after he had left. So I text my ex and I say, hey, did you come by the condo today? And instead of responding to me, he tweets something along the lines of, text your sneaky links, not me, I'm busy. After seeing that, I was like, yeah, okay, my ex was 100% in the condo today, but how the fuck did this man get in when he doesn't have a key? It's important to note that the lock on the doorknob didn't actually work, so the only thing that kept the door locked and shut was a lock that looked like this, and we also had a mail slot. So while I'm sitting there trying to figure out how this man got into the condo, I remember a time when I accidentally locked us out, and he stuck his skinny ass arm into the mail slot and reached over and unlocked the door. I was not only enraged, but I was fucking terrified. This is the dude that I broke up with maybe 2 weeks ago because he almost hit me. And he has now gotten into the condo when I'm not around without my permission by sticking his arm through the mail slot and unlocking the door. And legally, there was nothing I could do, right? Because he was still on a lease until the end of the month. So technically, legally, he had the right to be there, and he didn't break and enter. He stuck his arm through the mail slot and unlocked the door. I had to wait 2 days to get the locks changed, so that way you have to use a key to unlock it from both sides. And here's the kicker, okay? Later on, my ex's brother Sam told me that he was the one that drove my ex to the condo that day, because my ex had said that I was totally fine with him going to pick up more of his stuff when I wasn't there, which obviously isn't true, but I digress. Sam said that when my ex came out of the condo, he had nothing. He was completely empty-handed. So I have no idea what my ex was doing in the condo that day. I don't know if he was stopping by to see Levi. I don't know if he was just there to intimidate me, because he came through the front door and then left through the back door and left both doors unlocked. I don't know. I have no idea what he was doing in the condo that day or what he was there for. My ex's brother Sam also told me a bunch of other shit about my ex that I will talk about in the next part. The story time of how I broke up with my ex, part 3. So like I said, he had immediately started packing a bag to leave, but then he came downstairs and grabbed Levi's food out of the closet and then started gathering up all of Levi's stuff, like his toys and his leash. And I'm like, what are you doing? You're not taking Levi with you. And he goes, oh yes I am. This is my fucking dog. Adopting Levi in the first place is honestly the biggest regret I have for my relationship with my ex, because Levi just didn't deserve to be stuck in that situation with us. Granted, he was only there for 2 months, but still, he didn't deserve to go through it at all. I'm not even particularly a dog person. I'm more of a cat person, and we already had 2 cats. And it was my ex's idea to get a dog in the first place, and he wanted a big dog even though we lived in a little condo. And it took months and months of my ex telling me that he was going to be the one to train the dog and make sure that the dog got all of its exercise, and that he was going to pay for things like food and the vet bills to convince me that we could get this dog, because he said that this dog was going to be like his dog. This dog was going to be his responsibility, right? And can we guess what happened? The responsibility of this dog fell entirely onto me. Not only did I pay $2,000 for Levi because he was a purebred charcoal lab, but I bought his crate, his toys, his leash, his food. I paid for his vet bills, and just the responsibility of having him fell onto me, right? Taking him outside, making sure that he got the exercise that he needed, trying to train him. It all fell onto me. And I absolutely fell in love with Levi. Like I said, wasn't really a dog person. Levi changed me, okay? Throughout that month where we had him, he was like my best buddy, okay? I was in love with this dog. And for all intents and purposes, Levi was my dog, okay? And my ex is standing there in front of me, holding this tiny, helpless puppy, saying that he is going to take Levi with him, even though he has no car, no place to stay, and a shitty job. So I'm frantically following my ex around the downstairs of the condo, trying to get him to put Levi down, because this man is bigger than me, he's stronger than me. If he really wanted to take Levi with him, he was going to take Levi with him, and there was going to be nothing that I could do about it. And then at one point, out of just like pure adrenaline and rage and panic, I grabbed the back of my ex's shirt and got into like sumo squat position to try to get him to stop walking around with Levi and put him down. And it got to the point where I was almost ripping this shirt off of my ex. And all the while, I'm crying, screaming, begging for him to put Levi down and not take him. And while all of this is happening, the back door of the condo, which is a sliding glass door, opens up, and my ex's brother, let's call him Sam, walks into the condo. He's standing there with the door wide open, yelling at my ex. I guess my ex, when he had gone upstairs to start packing his stuff, must have texted Sam something along the lines of, "My life is over, I'm gonna end it," you know? And so Sam walks through the back door of the condo, leaves the door wide open, and is just screaming at my ex and saying, "Dude, that's not fucking cool. You can't just text me shit like that and then not text me back. That's fucking crazy." And then this man looks at me and starts yelling at me and saying shit like, "You guys are supposed to be it. You guys are supposed to get married. You guys need to fix this shit." And I am enraged at this point. And I look at Sam and I go, "Sam, get the fuck out of my condo." But instead of leaving, he stands there with the door wide open. Mind you, I have 2 cats and one of them likes to try to escape the condo. So now I'm not only trying to make sure that my ex doesn't leave with my dog, but I'm trying to get his brother out of the fucking condo. And then I'm also trying to make sure that my cat doesn't escape while all of this commotion is going on. Sam completely ignores me, and it wasn't until my ex said, "Hey dude, wait outside, I'll come out in a little bit, let me handle this," that he actually left and shut the door. So now that Sam is gone, I'm back to begging my ex to not take Levi with him when he leaves. And he's holding Levi in one hand like this, and he goes, "Tell me that this is a break, and I'll put the dog down. Tell me that this isn't over, and then I have a chance to fix this, and I'll put him down." So of course I go, "Fine, it's a fucking break. Put the dog down." And still holding Levi with one hand, he goes, "Are you sure? Or are you just saying that so that way I'll leave the dog and then it's actually gonna be a breakup when I leave? Are you just saying that?" So I said, "If you don't put the dog down, if you take Levi with you right now, this is a breakup. You will never have a chance of being with me ever again." Not that he had a chance of ever being with me again anyways, but I needed him to put the dog down. So he put Levi down and he left. I texted Katie and I said, "Hey, it's over. Could you come over for a little bit?" Because I was still in shock right after he left, and I was assuming it was going to hit me in a little bit and I was going to need my friend's support. But by the time Katie got there, I was in a surprisingly good mood. I was just so unbelievably relieved that he was gone and that we were broken up and I had finally done it. And as I'm telling Katie how good I feel and how relieved I am, I realized that my ex had said that he ordered my favorite salad from my favorite restaurant and had it delivered, and I was like, it's gotta be here by now. So I go to the front door to grab it. He never ordered it. That was a lie. So yeah, that is how I broke up with my ex, and the next story time that I post will be about how our friend group reacted the next day when I told them my side of the story and all of the things that he had done to me. If you're going through a really bad breakup right now, just so you know, my ex-boyfriend, I was sleeping in New York, visiting him because he worked in Connecticut, so we met up in New York, and we have been dating / talking for about a year and a half, and the bed was pushed to the side, so I was sleeping on the side that was closest to the bedside table. I woke up to multiple notifications, thinking it was my phone. I was like, oh my gosh, like what's happening? What's waking me up? So I went to go silence it. It wasn't my phone, it was his. I go, oh. So I look at the phone and it was a name with a yellow heart. Right. So I was like, oh, it's probably one of his like close friends, whatever. But he has the notifications. You just see iMessage from and whatever. So I was like, cool, whatever. Obviously clock the name, go back to bed, wake up. I see a notification on my phone from somebody on Snapchat that they screenshotted my location, and he also had a notification that his location was screenshotted. And I went, that's weird. And he was like, yeah, that's really weird. And I go, oh, do you know this person? He goes, oh yeah, I went to high school with them. And I said, okay, well, why are they screenshotting our locations? And he goes, I don't know, that's really weird. Played it off, really cool. And I go, okay, cool. So I go to the bathroom, I start looking up the first name of this girl that he was texting. He's only following one of them, and the girl that screenshotted my location was the little sister of her. So I put 2 and 2 together and I said, right. So then I start doing more research and I go to her Visco. Do you know what Visco is? VSCO. She had that in the link in her bio. I click it. They have pictures together. Okay? And I'm like, I'm in the bathroom of this hotel with this man. I'm leaving that day and I'm just like, there's no way I'm in love with this man. There's no way he's doing this to me. So I didn't have the courage and the balls to fucking say anything. So I was just like, oh my gosh, there's no fucking way. So I'm horrible. I grabbed his toothbrush and I scrubbed the side of the toilet, the hotel toilet, and I put it in the bowl. And then I was like, cool, I'm never kissing him again. But also if it's not true, like I'll forgive him. Psycho. Anyways, he was like, oh, I can't drop you off at the airport. I'm gonna have to drop you off at the subway. Red flag again. And I go, oh, that's fine. So then we go to the subway and he's dropping me off. I go through the little rolly thing that you go through to go down, and I'm waiting for my subway. My subway's not supposed, the subway train is not supposed to be there for about 10 minutes, but I'm standing there and I turn around, he's still watching me, and I look at him and I go, I love you, like, I love you, like, I love you. And he goes, he said I love you before, but he says that, and I go, my heart and my brain sink to my stomach, so I turn, a train shows up, and I go, I gotta get on this train, I can't do this. I'm hyperventilating, I get on this fucking train, I'm sitting there, I'm just like, 10 minutes go by, I realize this train is not even going towards the airport, it's going the opposite way, it's going the opposite fucking way, like, it's just, I don't know. So anyways, I end up realizing 10 minutes later after I'm done hyperventilating, I get off the fucking train, no one's fucking there, there's no more trains going this way, so I get out, I order an Uber, I get in my Uber gets a flat tire, I get out of my fucking Uber, I order another Uber, I get to the airport, I miss my fucking flight, and then I have to sleep in the airport that fucking night while I'm hyperventilating thinking, oh my gosh, this man's cheating on me. I try to call him, he doesn't fucking answer to go off on him, and then I'm like watching her story, and I'm like peeping all the shit. She's flying to New York right then and there. He was staying there for another week while she was flying to New York, and she posts a whole bouquet of flowers, treats, and all this bullshit, and I'm just like, wow. Anyways, so I get home. Then I get another message from this chick saying, hey, girly, like, are you dating this guy? And I'm like, yeah. And she goes, oh, I'm dating him too, but I just noticed that you guys were in New York together, and I just, like, need clarification. It's a whole nother bitch. So he's dating me, another bitch, and then her. And so then me and her both message this girl saying, hey, girly, this guy is fucking you over by dating all of us. And she goes, I don't care, he loves me, blah, 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 blah. I can't even talk about the rest because I'm just like in shock of how stupid I fucking was. Anyways, if you see any fucking red flags, or if you see something on the spot, this is nail glue, if you fucking say something, because 9 times out of 10, you're fucking right. And I should have fucking said something. And I will never regret swiping his toothbrush across the hotel fucking toilet. And I hope he ate shit. I'm so glad I fucking did that. Because I knew the next time I kissed him, if it wasn't true, I would have made him brush his teeth with a new toothbrush. But, anyways, if you're going through a breakup, I've been through it. I hope you're doing well. Just know you're better than that, and love you. I also tried to get my lick back. Don't try to get your lick back. It's not going to work out, because for me, what happened was I went to his house. I knew one of his friends. I messaged them. They were really cool with me. And I said, oh my gosh, where's blah blah blah's room? And they were like, it's downstairs. I said, great. And I walked in and they were like, what are you doing? And I said, I'm getting him the shoes I bought him. I bought these really expensive, nice shoes that he liked to run. So I bought him these really nice, expensive shoes, and he wore them the fuck out. And I went down to his room and I grabbed those shoes and I showed his friends and I said, cool, I'm leaving, bye. And as I was leaving, I got pulled over by a cop and got a speeding ticket because I was so pissed. So anyways, but they ended up getting engaged and they got married, and I think that was karma on my end, but also at the same time, like, there's other things I could say, but don't get your lick back. Don't waste your energy on these fucking men. They're fucking pieces of shit, and just read the red flags before you. I think I was so delusional at 22, so just don't try to get your lick back. Just drop them. They'll hate it even more. Now that I've said all this out loud, I realize how fucking stupid I was. But, you know, it's a good story to tell, so I hope you enjoyed it. Fuck men.
So what do all these stories have in common? It's not just the drama. It's the shock. The realization that someone you trusted could flip the script with no warning. Breakups aren't just about heartbreak anymore. They're about deception, double lives, and people walking away without explanation or accountability. And for a lot of women, it's not the end of the relationship that hurts most. It's the fact that they never got closure. But here's the truth no one says out loud. Sometimes closure doesn't come from them. It comes from you. From realizing what you deserve, what you survived, and what you'll never tolerate again. And if you've ever been through a breakup that left you speechless, confused, broken, just know you're not alone. You're not weak. You're just human. Drop your thoughts in the comments. What's the wildest breakup you've ever heard of or lived through? Let's create a space where people can share, vent, heal without judgment. Hit that like button if this resonated. Subscribe if you're here for more real, unfiltered stories. And always remember, sometimes the worst thing that happened to you was actually the best thing that ever happened for you.